Imagine stepping into a candlelit church in medieval Rome. The air is heavy with incense, whispers, and disbelief. In front of you sits not a living defendant, but the rotting corpse of a pope dressed in full papal regalia, placed on a throne to be judged. This is not a myth. This really happened in the year 897 A.D., the Cadaver Synod, the day a dead pope was put on trial. At the end of the 9th century, the papacy was not a serene spiritual office, but a brutal battlefield of politics and power. Pope Formosus, once a diplomat and bishop, had made many enemies during his career. When he died, the new pope, Stephen VI, inherited not only the throne of St. Peter, but also a deep hatred for his predecessor. Stephen wanted revenge, and in the strange logic of medieval Rome, revenge could reach beyond the grave. His plan: dig up Pope Formosus, dress the corpse in papal robes, and put him on trial before the world. On a moonless night, gravediggers opened Formosus's tomb. The body, months old and decaying, was placed in a coffin and carried to the Lateran Basilica. The people of Rome whispered in horror and fascination. Nobody had ever seen a trial like this. Inside the basilica, candles flickered against marble walls. Bishops, nobles, and curious citizens crowded the pews. The corpse was seated on a throne, propped up with ropes so it wouldn't collapse. Even in death, Formosus was forced to face his accusers. Pope Stephen VI entered the hall wearing his own papal robes, but his face was twisted with fury. Acting as judge, jury, and prosecutor, he read out charges, violating church law, perjury, and even illegally seizing the papacy. Of course, the dead pope could not answer. A trembling deacon was assigned to speak on his behalf, a grim theater of justice. Witnesses were called. Questions were shouted. The audience shifted between stunned silence and nervous laughter. And still, the corpse sat there, draped in gold and white, its empty sockets staring out at the court. Finally, Stephen VI pronounced the verdict: guilty. As punishment, Formosus's sacred blessing fingers were cut off. His papal robes were torn away. The corpse was stripped of all dignity and condemned. When the grotesque trial ended, Formosus's body was dragged through the streets of Rome and dumped into the river Tiber. For days, citizens whispered of omens and curses. The spectacle shocked even a city used to political bloodshed. But the Cadaver Synod backfired. The people of Rome turned on Pope Stephen VI, seeing his actions as madness. Within a year, Stephen himself was overthrown, imprisoned, and strangled to death. His reign ended as grotesquely as the trial he staged. The Cadaver Synod became one of the darkest symbols of medieval politics, a warning that power can twist both justice and religion. Later, popes would annul the trial and rebury Formosus with honor, but the stain remained. Today, the image of a dead pope on trial still haunts historians, a moment when fear, revenge, and superstition eclipsed common sense. And so the Cadaver Synod lives on, not as a bizarre footnote, but as a chilling reminder. In the Middle Ages, even death could not protect you from politics. If you found this story fascinating, imagine what other strange events lurk in the shadows of history. Subscribe for more shocking medieval stories, because the past is always stranger than you think.